Does it mean time off of work?
Does it mean seeing your family?
Does it mean the end of winter?
Does it mean the one of 2 times that you go to church?
Does it mean bunnies and candy?
Does Easter have a reason behind it?
Do we as Americans even remember the real reason for celebrating Easter?
Do you know why we celebrate Easter?
Easter has been a national holiday in our country for many years, but so has Halloween.
Honestly, who these days knows the true meaning behind Halloween?
So why is Easter so important? Isn't it just another holiday?
No, it is not just another holiday. It is the holiday of holidays.
The history of Easter didn't start 100 years ago or even 200.
No, it started over 2,000 years ago when 3 men were to be executed.
2 of the guys on death row were average criminals, common thieves.
But the third guy isn't like them. He's perfect. He's never committed a sin in his life.
He's never lied, cheated, stolen, gotten drunk, taken drugs, or committed any sexual sin.
But do you know why he's on death row? Because he's the Son of God.
He is sentenced to be nailed on a tree because his name is Jesus Christ.
Because he is life, truth, love, and strength.
But let's clarify something. He wasn't hanging on that tree because some earthly force had overpowered him.
He was hanging there because he loves us.
He was hanging on that tree by his own choice.
Since sin entered the world, everybody's penalty is death and hell. And because of our sin, we deserve to burn for eternity.
But Jesus took all the sin that we had committed and will commit and died for us in our place.
He was buried in the cold, hard ground with the weight of the world's sin pressing down on him.
Trying to hold him there.
But it couldn't. Sin couldn't keep him there. Hell couldn't keep him there, and Satan couldn't keep him there. He was just too holy.
The ground could not contain his holiness.
The ground couldn't contain the Lion of Judah.
You know what happened next? After 3 days in the ground, he walked right out of that grave.
Literally, he stood up and walked right out of the grave.
He defied death. He defied hell. He defied sin.
Easter reminds us that we no longer have to burn in hell for our sin.
We now have the option to accept the death of Jesus Christ.
And believe that he did die our death.
We have the option to love someone who has loved us from before we were even born.
We have the option to have faith in someone who died a tragic death for us.
We have the option to confess that we are sinful beings. We do need a Savior.
To confess that without Jesus' death and because of our sin, we are bound for eternal misery.
To confess that we can't save ourselves.
We are destined to die the death we deserve for our sin.
But he stepped in and sacrificially gave his life for us.
He stepped in so that our eternity did not have to be fire but glory.
Did not have to be pain but joy. Would not have to be hate but love.
Did not have to be hell, but heaven.
Listen to me. No actions or good works on earth will ever earn you heaven. Only by love will you ever see it.
Only by belief in Jesus' death and resurrection with your heart will you have the joy of heaven.
Only by a spoken confession of your sin to God will you live an eternity with the God of the universe.
So what are you going to do about it?
Are you going to pretend that God and Satan are fake?
Are you going to sit there and act like heaven and hell aren't real destination?
Are you going to live your life believing that you're going to go to heaven because of some good actions?
You're going to ignore the fact that every single one of us will end up in either heaven or hell.
There's no other option. It's Jesus or Satan.
You can't have both. It's one or the other. The choice is yours.
But I urge you.
Don't wait.
Death is inevitable, but it could come at any moment.
So don't delay.
Make your choice today.
Choose what you believe.
Now.
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 Now.